Good afternoon. My research is on present-day cognitive, academic, social, emotional learning practices with advocacy to support sustained social, emotional learning curricula in Washington State. In preparation to submit my application to present my research to the National Association of School Psychologists, I reviewed their website for proposal requirements. This information can be found at www.nasponline.org under the Professional Development menu. Zenner et al. Share that mindfulness is a foundational practice for the many challenges of life. Mindfulness, such as breathwork through meditation practice, cultivates self-awareness and self-control, both necessary skills needed to achieve success in the world today. A breathwork through meditation practice at the elementary level supports developing the child's emotional and behavior regulation skills and improving their attention spans. Breathwork and meditation is widely accepted as having a direct effect on our nervous system. Studies reveal positive correlations between our ability to control our heart rates and stress-related hormones and an intentional breathwork through meditation practice. Furthermore, when the practice is combined within a social setting, like a classroom, it reinforces standards of behavior that support desired social norms. This process of shaping culture is consistent with Bandura's self-regulation and social cognitive theories. Current education curriculum is evolving to support the education of the whole child. In Washington State, we see this educational evolvement over the last 10 years through the development and implementation of the social emotional learning program into school curriculum. These developments coincide with devastating social experiences such as growing numbers of single-parent households, mental health, domestic violence, and substance abuse evolvements, homelessness, school shootings, and COVID. Social emotional learning curriculum updates are also in direct relationship to the cultural and structural changes that accompany the ever-growing technology movement, such as the rise of video gaming and social media as a hobby, both exposing our kids to a new platform of strangers and mature content. Further systemic changes, such as the establishing of the Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Family Services in 2016, and the triggering of recent updates to laws such as the McKinney-Vento Act of 2002 and the Every Student Succeeds Act of 2015, which directly refocus our effort and attention to the future of our kids and sustainable culture values. These transformational curriculum changes require commitment from all stakeholders. We must continue to practice and define social emotional learning approaches that satisfy the needs of every child's equity and success and support the teaching environment while avoiding cumbersome methods that interfere with people's rights, family values, and professional scopes. This paper presents a research project under the umbrella of the social emotional learning curriculum standards. It is intended that breathwork through meditation practice will show positive results for both students and teachers, while also relieving the need for cumbersome additional training programs. This is important to the sustainment of the implementation of the social emotional learning with simple and effective practices. My research is designed with matters that focus on defining the processes schools use to determine a trauma-informed status, our teachers' perception of how breathwork through meditation practice benefits elementary students, and how the breathwork through meditation practice aligns with social emotional learning curriculum. If the practice influences our teachers' experiences and their ideas on engaging families and communities. A comprehensive list of elementary schools in Washington was obtained. This list is sorted by county, of which a random weighted average selection of elementary schools will be contacted for voluntary participation. The research project will be submitted to the IRB for approval of consent, and any ethical considerations will be addressed. Inquiries will be made in both in person and in writing for responses from school staff and teachers for their advocacy on the following topics. 1. Identifying the processes the school used to determine if they are trauma sensitive or informed, and their readiness to apply trauma-informed practices. This section of the study will also address what kind of training has been made available to them, school faculty and teachers, since the 2024 implementation of social emotional learning into Washington school curriculum. 2, establishing a rate of teachers in Washington State who are using the breathwork through meditation practice in classrooms, and any effects noted on improvements in students' behavior regulation and attention spans. Questions will relate to teacher perceptions on the effectiveness of breathwork through meditation practice as a remedial student management technique. How teacher belief systems influence the instruction of meditation practice and how it translates into elementary classrooms. The information supports the collaborative process intended through the application of social emotional learning by gathering a holistic viewpoint to monitor and assess true areas of future need. 3, and importantly, addressing schools and teachers' efforts to communicate trauma-informed practices, such as breathwork through meditation, with families and communities, furthering the feasibility of the trauma-sensitive movement. The interview will request insight on additional gaps related to teachers' need for support, parental support, and feasibility of bringing social emotional learning standards into our homes and communities. As we move forward into a new generation of leaders with technology and many changes to relationship dynamics, family and gender roles, my research intends to be a stepping stone to encourage cultural values that will bring balance to our individual responsibilities to quality of life and wellness to our families, careers, and lifestyles.